Have you ever wondered why some people seem to radiate an inexplicable magnetism? I'm not just talking about physical beauty, but that special quality that makes others gravitate toward them. Carl Jung, one of history's most brilliant psychologists, understood that true attractiveness emerges from within, from that deep connection with our authentic self. Today I want to invite you on a journey of self-discovery. A journey where we'll explore 13 signs that, according to Jungian psychology, reveal you're much more attractive than you believe. And no, I'm not talking about physical features or passing trends. I'm talking about profound qualities that emerge when you finally decide to choose yourself. Before we begin, I want to ask you something. For the next few minutes, allow yourself to see your own reflection through Jung's eyes, because what you'll discover might transform not only how you perceive yourself, but how you relate to the entire world. The first sign that you're more attractive than you think is that you've learned to embrace your shadow. Jung dedicated much of his life to studying what he called the shadow, that part of ourselves containing everything we prefer not to see, our fears, insecurities, and aspects we've repressed. When a person has begun to integrate their shadow, they emanate an authenticity that is magnetic. Why? Because they no longer live in constant denial of who they really are. Think about the people you find most attractive. Aren't they those who seem comfortable in their own skin, who don't pretend to be perfect? There's something deeply attractive about someone who can say, "Yes, I have flaws, I have fears, but I acknowledge them and work with them." This authenticity creates a space where others can also be authentic, and that's something we all deeply crave. The second sign is that you've developed your intuition. Jung firmly believed in the power of intuition as a form of knowledge. It's no coincidence that we feel irresistibly drawn to those people who seem to have an internal compass, who make decisions not just from logic, but from a deeper knowing. When you've developed your intuition, your decisions flow with a naturalness that others perceive as confidence. It's not arrogance, it's trust in your inner wisdom. And few things are as attractive as someone who trusts their own path without constant need for external validation. The third sign is that you've found balance between your polarities. Jung talked about how we all have masculine and feminine aspects in our psyche, what he called animus and anima. Truly attractive people have integrated these opposing energies. They don't feel threatened by showing both strength and vulnerability, both rationality and emotion. This integration creates a complete presence that fascinates those around you. It's as if they can feel that you're not fragmented, that you don't repress essential parts of your being to fit into rigid roles. And this wholeness, this capacity to be multidimensional, generates an almost inexplicable magnetism. The fourth sign is that you've developed the art of active listening. Jung was known for his extraordinary ability to listen to his patients, not just the words they said, but what lay beneath them. When you truly listen to someone, you're offering one of the rarest gifts in our fast-paced world, your total presence. Have you noticed how you're drawn to people who really listen to you? Not those who are waiting for their turn to speak, but those who seem to absorb every word, every gesture, every silence. If you've developed this capacity, believe me, you're much more attractive than you imagine. The fifth sign is that you've learned to establish healthy boundaries. Contrary to what many think, setting clear boundaries doesn't push the right people away. It actually attracts them. Jung understood that self-respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. When you clearly define what you accept and don't accept in your life, you're communicating deep self-love. This self-love generates a magnetic field that attracts people who also respect themselves. It's no coincidence that when you begin to value yourself, you attract those who value you equally. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors that only open for those who deserve to enter your sacred space. The sixth sign is that you found purpose in your life. Jung spoke of individuation, that process of becoming who you truly are meant to be. When a person lives with purpose, when their actions align with their deepest values, they emanate an energy that others can feel. There's something incredibly attractive about someone who knows where they're going, who doesn't simply exist, but lives with intention. You don't need to have all the answers, but that active search for meaning creates a depth that is magnetic to those around you. The seventh sign is that you've learned to embrace solitude. Jung greatly valued moments of introspection and solitude as essential for personal growth. In a world that seems afraid of silence, those who have learned to be comfortable in their own company possess a special attractiveness. This comfort with oneself communicates that you're not in relationships out of necessity or fear, but by choice. You don't seek others to fill your voids because you've learned to nourish yourself from within. And paradoxically, this ability to be okay with yourself is what makes others want to be with you. The eighth sign is that you've developed the capacity to see beauty in the ordinary. Jung had a deep appreciation for symbols and hidden meanings in everyday life. Truly attractive people possess this same quality. They can find wonder in what others consider mundane. This capacity for wonder, this way of seeing the world with always fresh eyes, is contagious. Don't you feel naturally drawn to people who can transform a simple moment into something meaningful? Who can find depth in everyday conversations? If you've cultivated this perspective, you're radiating a type of attractiveness that transcends the superficial. The ninth sign is that you've embraced your uniqueness. Jung was a pioneer in recognizing the importance of individuality in a world that constantly pressures us toward conformity. When you've stopped trying to fit into predefined molds and have begun to honor your unique path, you awaken a type of authentic attraction. There's nothing more attractive than someone who has found the courage to be different, to express their ideas even when they go against the current, to dress in ways that resonate with their inner being. This authenticity shines like a beacon in a sea of people trying to be like everyone else. The 10th sign is that you've learned to keep your curiosity alive. Jung never stopped being an eternal student, always exploring new ideas, cultures, and perspectives. There's something deeply attractive about a mind that remains flexible, that continues to be fascinated by the world, that never believes it has all the answers. This curiosity keeps your spirit young, regardless of your physical age. When you demonstrate genuine interest in learning, in growing and evolving, you create a vitality that others can feel. And that energy, that enthusiasm for life is irresistible. The 11th sign is that you've developed the capacity to be present. In a world of constant distractions, full presence has become one of the most powerful forms of attractiveness. Jung understood that only in the present moment can we fully experience life. When you've cultivated this ability to be completely where you are, without your mind constantly wandering to the past or future, you create a magnetic quality. People feel seen, heard, and valued in your presence. And this genuine connection is one of the greatest attractions you can offer. The 12th sign is that you've learned to relate to your emotions in a healthy way. Jung dedicated much of his work to understanding the importance of integrating our emotions, even those that make us uncomfortable. When a person has developed emotional intelligence, when they don't flee from their feelings or repress them, they create a space of authenticity that others can feel. This ability to navigate the complex emotional universe without drowning in drama or hiding in coldness generates a type of stability that is deeply attractive. It's not that you don't feel intensely, it's that you've learned to flow with your emotions instead of being dragged by them. And the 13th sign, perhaps the most powerful of all, is that you've learned to choose yourself. Jung believed that true self-love isn't selfishness, but the necessary foundation for being able to authentically love others. When you've decided to honor your needs, respect your dreams, and live according to your deepest values, you generate a type of attractiveness that transcends the physical. This decision to prioritize yourself doesn't mean ignoring others. It means understanding that you can't give what you don't have. And paradoxically, when you fill yourself first, you have much more to offer. This inner fullness creates a magnetism that naturally attracts the right people into your life. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect. How many of these signs do you recognize in yourself? Perhaps more than you imagined, because the truth is that real attractiveness doesn't come from meeting external standards, but from that journey to your center, to your most authentic essence. Jung understood that we all carry a treasure within, waiting to be discovered. And when you begin to unearth that treasure, when you start living from your truth, something magical happens. The world responds. Not because you're suddenly perfect, but because you're real. And in a world full of masks and pretenses, few things are as attractive as authenticity. Perhaps you're wondering how you can develop more of these qualities in yourself. The answer isn't in superficial techniques or external changes. It's in that inner journey that Jung valued so much. It's in the courage to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I living my truth? Am I honoring my unique path? Because true attractiveness isn't something you build. It's something you discover when you dare to tear down the walls you've built around yourself. It's what naturally emerges when you stop trying to be who you think you should be and begin to embrace who you really are. This discovery process isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it involves facing truths you've avoided, recognizing patterns that no longer serve you, letting go of relationships that drain your energy. But every time you choose your truth over comfort, every time you dare to be authentic even when it's difficult, you're feeding that inner magnetism that no passing trend can match. Jung reminded us that the most brilliant person is one who never stops learning and never, under any circumstances, stops opening their mind. This type of brilliance has nothing to do with academic titles or external achievements. It has to do with that inner light that ignites when you decide to be the protagonist of your own life, when you stop living according to others' scripts and begin to write your own story. And yes, there will be those who don't understand your journey. There will be those who feel uncomfortable with your authenticity because it reminds them of their own disconnection. But there will also be those who feel irresistibly drawn to you, not for what you appear to be, but for who you really are. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful attractiveness isn't what captures passing glances, but what creates deep connections. It's not what makes you stand out at a party, but what makes you unforgettable in the hearts of those who truly matter. It's that radiance that emerges when you've made peace with your past, when you fully inhabit your present, when you look with hope toward your future. And that radiance, that light that emerges when you finally choose yourself, cannot be imitated or manufactured. It's the natural result of an inner journey, of that daily decision to live with authenticity, to honor your gifts, to embrace your shadows, to walk your own path. Jung said that knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And I would add that it's also the beginning of all true attractiveness, because when you know yourself, when you accept yourself, when you celebrate yourself in all your complexity, you create a magnetic field that transcends the physical, that speaks directly to the soul of those around you. Don't underestimate the power of your authenticity. Don't minimize the impact of your decision to live from your truth. In a world that constantly tries to shape you, your courage to be who you really are not only transforms you, but inspires others to do the same. And perhaps that's the best-kept secret, that true attractiveness not only benefits you, but creates a domino effect of authenticity around you. When you dare to shine, you give permission to others to do the same. When you dare to be vulnerable, you create spaces where others can lower their defenses. When you dare to live with purpose, you inspire others to seek their own. This is the type of influence that Jung valued, not that based on power or manipulation, but that which naturally arises when you live in alignment with your deepest self. It's a silent but powerful leadership that doesn't need titles or recognition because its impact is felt in the hearts of those around you. Now, how can you nurture these qualities in your daily life? Not through superficial techniques or external changes, but through practices that connect you with your center. Dedicate time to introspection, whether through meditation, writing, or simply moments of silence. Learn to listen to that inner voice that often gets drowned out by the noise of the world. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your authenticity, who encourage you to be more you, not less. Constantly question whether your decisions come from your truth or from external expectations. Practice saying no to what doesn't resonate with you and yes to what feeds your soul. And above all, remember that this is a journey, not a destination. It's not about achieving perfection, but about moving each day a little closer to your center. As Jung said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." And in that constant choice, in that daily decision to choose yourself, is where your true power of attraction resides. If this message has resonated with you, if you've recognized some of these 13 signs in yourself, I want you to know it's no coincidence you're hearing these words today. Perhaps it's that synchronicity Jung spoke of, that mysterious way the universe brings us exactly what we need at the right moment. I invite you to share this video with someone you think needs to hear this message. Someone who perhaps doesn't recognize their own attractiveness. Someone who might benefit from remembering their inner light. Because sometimes, all we need is for someone to remind us of what we already know deep within. And if you've liked this content, if it has touched something inside you, let me know in the comments. Share which sign resonated most with you, what discoveries you've made about yourself. Your experience is valuable not just to me, but to this entire community we're building together. A space where we can explore these deep truths that transform not only how we see ourselves, but how we relate to the entire world. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive updates about new videos like this one. We're on a journey together, a journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. And every step you take toward your truth, every time you choose authenticity over approval, you're creating not only a fuller life for yourself, but a world where we can all shine in our uniqueness. Remember, your true attractiveness isn't in what you do to impress others, but in who you are when you dare to be authentic. As Jung would say, the most difficult and most important task in a person's life is to find themselves. And in that encounter, in that recognition of your own worth, is where you discover that you've always been much more attractive than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. Thank you for being here, for dedicating this time to exploring these truths with me. Your presence, your attention, your openness are gifts I don't take lightly. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue unearthing those treasures we all carry within. Until then, remember to choose yourself every day, in every decision. Because when you choose yourself, the world responds.